Hello and welcome everyone to the Rawabet Center. We are finally having our new parliament speaker after a delay that was probably one of the reasons why the demonstrations got escalated and resulted into the burning of many governmental buildings and a lot of troubles, to be honest with you. But right now the demonstrations are a little bit more quiet, a little bit more cool compared to what happened before. However, that doesn't really reflect that the people are happy with the current situation, rather than that they are giving a little bit more time to the Iraqi government to do something about their demands. Now, the message of the protesters is clear to all the politicians in Iraq, and they just have to translate it into reality, into a real work. Otherwise, those demonstrations might get worse. Now, Mr. Mohammed Al-Habousi is our new parliament speaker. He's a young lad, educated, charismatic, passionate and motivated, and it seems like he wants to do a lot of good things, not only to the Iraqi parliament, but to Iraq in general. I mean, a lot of Iraqi politicians praised him. The Anbar Governorate Council as well praised him a lot because he was the governor of Anbar Governorate, and these are all good news for us, are all good indications that he's actually going to do something really positive for us. However, his position is one of the most challenging positions ever. I mean, the Iraqi parliament been accused with a lot of bad accusations, corruption, ineffectiveness, for example, because the people stormed the Iraqi parliament in 2016 because they found nothing out of it. None of the decisions that came out of the parliament were implemented, and the overrated salaries as well, everything that is bad was said about the Iraqi parliament. That's why it's just really challenging. Now, the Daily Mail newspaper in 2010 said about the Iraqi parliament and the politicians in Iraq that the politicians in Iraq have raked in more than $1,000 a minute for working just 20 minutes this year. They picked up a fee of $90,000 and a monthly salary of $22,500 a month for doing next to nothing and staying in Baghdad's finest hotels. Now, the good thing here about it is that Mr. Al-Habousi talked about this in one of the interviews that he had before he became the Iraqi parliament speaker, and every single Iraqi family that has a TV at home saw Mr. Al-Habousi interview where he revealed the overrated salaries, the very bad management of the money management, the expenditure, the kind of, overrated benefits that they are getting. So as long as he announced that and he talked about it on TV, it means that he's actually going to do something about it, and he's going to stop it, and he's going to just take us to the right path and make the Iraqi parliament represent all the Iraqi people and just implement all the demands of these people who are, protesting today, for example. Now, however, with all these good indications that I'm talking about, the Independent newspaper in a recent article showed that it is really pessimistic about the whole situation. And it said, and I quote, that the problem is not just individual corruption, but the political mechanism as a whole. And this is just something been built up since 2003. It's not something that came yesterday, right? When you compare the Iraqi parliament, for example, right now to any parliament in the world, if we choose, for example, the Norwegian parliament, I know it's like a huge distance between the two parliaments, but the Norwegian parliament, for example, doesn't give that overrated salaries that the members of the Iraqi parliament are getting. They don't give cars, no security, no houses, no benefits, just not that much really, because they are supposed to be representing the people. They are supposed to be staying with the people, and the members there just compete with each other to serve the citizens there in Norway. So all these things really are just things that the members of the Iraqi parliament needs to do, and we hope that they can do it. But it's been years we are waiting for something to be done, but nothing been done so far, for 15 years. Now, the Daily Mail newspaper in 2016 talked about the Iraqi parliament, and it said that ordinary Iraqis already consider the institution to be a joke. Iraq's parliament is and has been one of the most ineffective institutions in the Iraqi state since 2005. And what that means really is that whether it was before the ISIS invasion, during the ISIS invasion, or even after the ISIS invasion, when we got victorious against ISIS terrorists, the ineffectiveness of the Iraqi parliament been always there. since it was founded. Nothing out of it. So the the excuses of ISIS and Al-Qaeda and whatever challenge that Iraq has doesn't really mean anything. It's going to be always ineffective. That's what the Daily Mail said in 2016 about it. And Mr. Al-Halbousi actually been since he got actually assigned as the parliament speaker, he actually went to Basra. He invited all the members of the Iraqi parliament. He had a very positive meeting with Basra's governor as well. A lot of good speeches, a lot of good ideas. It seems like the members of the Iraqi parliament wants to do something, and Mr. Al-Halbousi just is trying to make it effective. And these are just really, really, really good indications. And the thing is, now the people are just waiting for things to be implemented. This is the thing that everyone is waiting for. The Independent newspaper, as well, in one of its recent articles, it said that even if a new government is formed under the current Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi or some other figure, it may not make much difference. Now, the Independent are looking at the 4.5 million employees, under the Iraqi government. These people get the benefits from the Iraqi government, and the kind of corruption that is built in around, they will not really allow major changes to be happening. They will just try their best to keep things as it is in order for them just to keep continuing getting the salaries that they are getting, the money that they are making, all that. So that's why it's really tough. That's what the Independent newspaper are looking at, actually. And the thing is, everyone is just hoping for a lot of good changes this time, but at the same time there are things that you need to do a huge change in it. And we don't know if that's really going to happen or not, but Iraqis always been hoping since 2003. Now, one of the journalists of the New York Times who actually stayed in Iraq from 2003 to 2010, especially at Basra. He was at Basra, and he had a lot of interviews, and he looked at a lot of things that are happening, but he revealed everything that he saw in 2016, and everyone was waiting for what he will say. He didn't reveal anything until 2016. For 6 years, he was just hiding the things that he knew about. He was just watching the whole situation. Now, let me just show you one of the just simple comments that was written in his article at the New York Times that was, as I said, released in 2016. He said that in one of his interviews with Muhammad Hussein, who's 24 years old, a policeman from Nasiriyah, he told him in 2005, which means 2 years after the US invasion of Iraq, he said, people here are angry. The situation is not as we hoped it would be after the toppling of Saddam's regime, because there is no reconstruction as we were promised. So that just explains everything to you, how the Iraqis been actually patient with the whole political scene in Iraq. And today we have hopes, and there are people who are not hoping for anything, people who are just pessimistic about everything. The people now, we are going to have a new Iraqi prime minister very soon, and the government is going to be completed, but is this government going to be capable of coming over all these challenges that are built in for years? Is this government going to be a survival? Is it really going to do something that we will remember, rather than the corruption and all the bad memories that we are having right now about the previous governments? We hope things going to go at the right path and things going to be sorted out. Thank you for watching.